Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. In the last class, we went through the whole of this thing till page number 6. We have done introduction and types of words in Arabic. That is, any language is made up of, if you think of them in terms of Lego blocks, then they are made up of small units or blocks. Every language has sentences. Sentences are made up of words. Words are made up of alphabets. So alphabets make words. Words, combination of words become fragments, and fragments combine to make sentences. And together with many sentences, we make a language. It starts to make sense. So it becomes a language. We have done previously types of words in Arabic, ism, fail, harf, and we went through what is a noun or ism, what is fail, and what is harf in Arabic. So briefly, ism is defined as a person, place, thing, idea, adjective, adverb, and more. Then we did fail. Fail is a word that has a tense or an action, action plus time bound, past, present, future. And then we have harf, that is incomplete unless it is followed by either an ism or a fail. And the examples are to, from, in, with, until, if, etc. And we went through this drill. And so many of you got this wrong, that the pronouns, the word itself has ism in it. So pronouns are isms. So you are supposed to label all the pronouns as isms. And then this is a chart that is supposed to be memorized. Yes, so this is chapter 3. I want to get started with the gender. So, as you know, every ism has 4 properties. The 4 properties are status, gender, number, type. Status, gender, number, type. And we spent a lot of time focusing on status, as it is unique to the Arabic language and the most extensive of the 4 properties. In this chapter, we will complete our study of the 4 properties of an ism. Remember not to lose sight of where we are in our studies. So we are going to do gender. Gender is the second of the 4 properties of the ism. Every word in the Arabic language is either masculine or feminine. Masculine or feminine. Masculine is muzakkar, feminine muannas. The default gender for an ism is masculine. If it is not specified, if you don't see any signs of it being a feminine, then the gender is masculine. There are 6 categories of feminine words. If a word does not fall into one of these 6 categories, it is masculine. Now, please make a note of these. Biologically feminine. This refers to words that are feminine by nature. Sister, mother, or cow. Ukhtun, ummun, bakaratun. The words that end in these 3 letters, ta marbuta, alif maksura, alif mamduda. When a word has these 3 letters, one of these 3 letters, it's called feminine. These are ta marbuta, alif maksura, or alif mamduda. Make a note of these endings. Make a note of these endings, and most often these will be feminine words. For example, Kubra, Hamra, Rahmatun, Hulia, Sauda, and Salatun. Body parts in pairs. Body parts that come in pairs are feminine, both in dual and singular forms. Body parts that come in pair are feminine, both in dual and singular forms. Like, for example, eyes and eye will be feminine even if it's one eye. And both eyes, both words will be feminine. One eye or both eyes, both will be feminine. Hand, yadun, or both hands, they will be feminine. One hand or both hands, both are feminine words. So body parts that come in pairs are feminine, both in dual or singular forms. Then specific names of places. Most specific names of places are feminine. The word school or masjid is not a specific name of a place. So country names are feminine. There are a few exceptions. Non-human plurals. All non-human plurals are considered feminine. This holds true regardless of the gender of the singular form. Take a look at the chart below. The singular form of sayyaratun is sayyarat. The singular form of masjid is masajid, and singular form of kitab is kutub. Okay, feminine because the Arab said so. These words in this table, they are all feminine. Only because the Arab said so, there is no rule. They just said, these are feminine. So these are feminine. These are called muannas samai. And you have to memorize these. So there is this story. This can help you memorize these words or commit to memory all these words. And this is a drill that we can do after these. So this was briefly about gender. And we have to remember all these rules. Gender is the second of the four properties of the ism. Every word in the Arabic language is either masculine or feminine. Default gender of an ism is masculine, and this is how we know. Biological feminine, words that end in these three endings. Body parts in pairs, specific names of places, non-human plurals, and feminine because the Arab said so. So these are the 6 that you have to remember. Okay. Now I want to go back to flexibility of Arab. Okay. What is flexibility? Let's have a look at flexibility. Flexibility is not one of the 4 properties of the ism. It is a subtopic. What did I say? Flexibility is not one of the 4 properties of the ism. It is a subtopic under status. Let us have a look. So why is this important? Discussion of flexibility will be only pertaining to the words that have an ending sound. All right? So flexibility will only be regarding ending sounds. Which words are the ones that have ending sounds? So have a look at this. In this chart, only these 3, Muslimun, Musliman, Muslimin, these are known to have ending sounds. The singular form of the Muslimun chart have ending sounds. Others are ending combinations. So we cross them out. Only the singular words have ending sounds. Muslimun, Musliman, Muslimin. These are known as words or isms that have ending sounds. Please commit this to memory. So the discussion of flexibility will only be regarding the words that have ending sounds, that is these three only, and similar words. There are three forms of flexibility: fully flexible, partly flexible, and non-flexible. Fully flexible, partly flexible, and non-flexible. Fully flexible, partly flexible, non-flexible. So what is fully flexible? Fully flexible are the ones that have Muslimun, Musliman, Muslimin, three forms, all three forms. A fully flexible ism will have all three forms: Muslimun, Musliman, Muslimin. Non-flexible are the opposite of fully flexible. They can never show their status. Non-flexible that never show their status. For example, like they look the same in Rafa, they will look the same in Nasab, and they will look the same in Jar. Words that end in Alif Maksura or normal Alif, words like Musa, Huda, Zakaria, for example, non-flexible, all pointer words, Asmaul Ishara, both in the singular and plural forms, Asma Mausula, all of these are non-flexible. And then you have the tables here. They look the same in Rafa, Nasab, Jar forms. And when we spoke about Alif Maksura, we can see Musa, Musa, Musa. Rafa, Nasab, Jar, same. So we will have to look from the context. Which one is Rafa, which one is Nasab, which one is Jar. We will see from their usage. Let's have a look at the partly flexible. What did we see first? Fully flexible, they are all these. They will have all three status. Clearly visible. Then there are words that don't show their status. They will be same, they look the same, exactly identical, Rafa, Nasab, Jar. We will learn from context what is the status. Then we are going to have a detailed look at the partly flexible. Partly flexible. And they are known as Mamnu Minas Sarf. Mamnu Minas Sarf. They can only display their status in two ways. They can display their status in two ways. Partly flexible words are words that can only display their status in two ways. So they can only take up a fatha and a dhamma. And partly flexible words also never take tanween. Partly flexible words never take tanween. This type of word takes a single dhamma in the rafa form, single fatha in the nasab form, and single fatha in the jar form. So what's the difference? Here we have Muslimun, Musliman, Muslimin. Here we have words that show they are completely identical in all three rafa, nasab, jar. Musa, Musa, Musa. And here in the partly flexible, tanween is gone. Dhamma is there, Yusufu in the rafa. Nasab is Yusufa and jar is also Yusufa. Yusufu, rafa, Yusufa, nasab, Yusufa, jar. Notice that the nasab and jar look the same. In partly flexible, nasab and jar look the same. All these three all have all three status, but the manner in which they display the status, that is different. They all have the three statuses. The manner in which they display the status is different. That is very important to remember. We cannot say that they don't have different status. They have all three status, but fully flexible words will show all three different status and they will have tanween. Non-flexible words will not show any status. They will be exactly identical in all three status. They will be like it's very difficult to distinguish just by looking at them what is their status. And partly flexible mamnu min as-sarf are words that can only display their status in two ways, and they don't have tanween. Yusufu, Yusufa, Yusufa. Yusufu is rafa, Yusufa is nasab, Yusufa is jar. So, unlike a non-flexible word, there are times when a partly flexible word can be made fully flexible by showing kasra in the jar. So, non-flexible words like the ismul ishara, ism mausula, and these words, they cannot be changed. But partly flexible words can be changed to have all three visible status. When does that happen? By adding an alif lam, or by making it a mudaf, which is something we are going to discuss later. Mudaf mudaf ilayh is a fragment we are going to discuss later, inshallah. So how do we identify partly flexible words? There are no clear markers for partly flexible words. You will become accustomed to identifying partly flexible words as you are exposed to more vocabulary. However, there are a few categories of partly flexible words we can familiarize ourselves with to make identification of partly flexible words easier. Non-Arab names. Non-Arab names are partly flexible. Arab names are fully flexible. Non-Arab names are partly flexible. Arab names are fully flexible. There are 4 Arab prophets' names mentioned in the Quran: Shoaibun, Salihun, Hudun, Muhammadun. Take a look at the chart below and take note of differences between how the partly flexible names and the fully flexible names look in each status. So let's see. Yusufu, Yusufa, Yusufa. Ismailu, Ismaila, Ismaila. Ibrahimu, Ibrahima, Ibrahima. Yaqubu, Yaquba, Yaquba. Maryamu, Maryama, Maryama. Muhammadun, Muhammadan, Muhammadin. Hudun, Hudan, Hudin. Salihun, Salihan, Salihin. Shoaibun, Shoaiban, Shoaibin. Lutun, Lutan, Lutin. Nuhun, Nuhan, Nuhin. Now, how did these have all three status and tanween? Nuhun and Lutun are not Arab names. So what happened here? There is one exception. 3-letter names with a sukoon on the middle letter will always be flexible, fully flexible, even if they are non-Arab. 3-letter names with a sukoon in the middle letter will always be fully flexible, even if they are not Arab names. Okay, feminine names and uniquely masculine names. All feminine names are partly flexible. Masculine names that have no feminine counterpart are also partly flexible. Below are some examples of uniquely masculine names. Memorize them and we will learn the rest as we encounter them. So all feminine names are partly flexible. Arab or non-Arab, all feminine names are partly flexible. Masculine names that have no feminine counterpart are also partly flexible. Hamzatu, Hamzata, Hamzata, Muawiyatu, Muawiyata, Muawiyata, Umaru, Umara, Umara, Usmanu, Usmana, Usmana. So you have to understand and memorize the concept. What is fully flexible? What is partly flexible? What is non-flexible? This is very important. Go over the video once again, revise the concept, and we are going to do this one, proper names of places, and then I will end the class. So we are doing examples of the partly flexible non-Arab names. Arab names are fully flexible, non-Arab names are partly flexible. Then non-Arab names with three letters or alphabets and sukoon in the middle, they will be partly flexible. Then we have all feminine names, Arab or non-Arab, will be partly flexible, and then masculine names with no feminine counterpart are also partly flexible. Then we have proper names of places like Makkatu, Makkata, Makkata, Yasribu, Yasriba, Yasriba, Jahannamu, Jahannama, Jahannama. But when, as we learned, some names of places have alif lam. The names of places that have alif lam, they will be fully flexible without tanween. Fully flexible without tanween. Al-Iraqu, Al-Iraqa, Al-Iraqu, Al-Iraqa, Al-Iraqi, Al-Hindu, Al-Hinda, Al-Hindi. Then you have three letters with a sukoon in the middle. Again, you have fully flexible place name. Just like non-Arab prophets with a three-letter name and sukoon in the middle, they were fully flexible. So place names, three letters, sukoon in the middle, fully flexible. Let's just go through the light and heavy also. What is the meaning of light and heavy? Lightness and heaviness are not from among the four properties of ism. Rather, the discussion of light and heavy is a subtopic that falls under status. Now that we have learned about the different markers, un, an, in, and the different Arab to determine the status, we will learn about different variations and forms that these markers can take. Heavy is the default. So the Muslimun chart, Muslimun, Musliman, Muslimin, Muslimani, Muslimaini, Muslimaini, Muslimuna, Muslimina, Muslimina, all those words are heavy. To make it light, all you have to do is remove the noon, N sound. How do you do that? Muslimu, Muslima, Muslimi, Muslima, Muslimai, Muslimai, Muslimu, Muslimi, Muslimi. What is the significance? We will learn about it, inshallah, very soon. And you have to memorize the Muslim chart in the light form. First, you memorize the Muslim chart in the heavy form. Now you have to memorize the Muslim chart in the light form. This will be the homework, and the rest you have to just briefly go through. The fully flexible, non-flexible, and partly flexible words and the lists. And we have covered gender today as well. Barakallahu feekum. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu.